Hi, welcome back. Well, you may remember him from Country Practice, or maybe Sons and Daughters, or even McLeod's Daughters. We've got in the studio today Mr. Peter Cousens. How are you, Peter?
Good, Ken. Really good to be here. It's a very bright set.
Yes, yes. Not like those moody sort of drama sets that you're used to, perhaps.
No, or even the sets back in the 80s.
So you're a bit of an Australian television legend, then, are you? How does that feel?
Look, it makes me feel very old because it was some time ago that I was on television a lot, and that was sort of during the 1980s. Mm-hmm. So it was sort of a halcyon days of television, actually, with lots of series like Cop Shop and Sons and Daughters and The Sullivans. And
there was a lot of local drama, wasn't there? Yeah, and The Sullivans as well. That was very long running. We were kind of
mentored as young actors too by older actors. It wasn't such a youth-orientated soaps and things. They were much more eclectic casting and generational. So I remember great training ground.
I remember sitting down with the whole family, watching Country Practice, and you had some very old characters there and some young characters, and it was a good family soap.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the focus has kind of gone in a slightly different way these days.
So far as acting is concerned, you're a bit of an old hand, but as far as...
An old ham or
an old ham? Well, I'll leave that up to you, Peter.
Probably an old ham.
But so far as directing is concerned, you're looking at your debut with this new movie, Freedom. How was that? Directing?
Oh, thrilling, and to come across from another performing arts discipline was very exciting to do. And luckily, this film was made in America. It was a great opportunity and a great and very respectful time from them in terms of, because I was obviously pretty challenged, I expect, by the prospect of doing something like this. But I discovered a whole lot of things I didn't know I knew. Yeah,
such as?
And well, just dealing with the technical side of film. Sure. If you haven't done it from a particular side of the camera, it could be daunting. But I actually realised that a whole lot of stuff that I sort of either instinctively knew or had absorbed over the years. And so much of being a director on a film is really sharing a vision and managing and leading people towards a particular goal. So
the movie's called Freedom, and it focuses on John Newton, who we saw in the movie Amazing Grace as an old man. That beautiful moment where I was blind but now I see, and actually he is blind at that stage in his life. But they really stole the title that your movie should have had, because your movie is actually more about John Newton than theirs. That's one of the main stories there.
Look, a third of the film is about John Newton, and we use that story as a way of I expect it's part of the inspiration of our main story, which is a family of slaves escaping with the help of the Underground Railroad, which was a secret network of people who guided these slaves to freedom in Canada. And on the way, a story is told about John Newton and his moment of catharsis in the middle of the Atlantic.
He was a slave trader himself at one stage, but was converted. Yeah,
and we see his conscience being totally ripped apart as he deals with what was acceptable by Christians, by everyone. The slave trade was something which was just part of the way things were, part of the way the economy worked. So. Yeah. And so we see that, and we also see and understand the legacy, which was Amazing Grace, the song, and that song plays a part, I expect, in the catharsis of our leading slave who's escaping, who's played
Samuel.
Samuel is played by Cuba Gooding Jr.
Cuba Gooding Jr. I want to ask you about Cuba Gooding Jr., but let's, just for our audience's sake, rather than talking about the film, let's have a look at a little bit of the trailer, so you can get a feel for what it's about.
This story, although set in the past, is about the future, where I know freedom is.
Freedom, Samuel. God willing.
Sammy, you have to trust.
Now they gonna run us down, Nessa. They gonna beat us again. They gonna put the collar to us again. Faith.
I'm tossed in this wide world.
I don't want you to go.
Mary, I'm simply the captain of Barton's ship. I don't own it, nor the cargo.
No hope have I for tomorrow.
They're taking full. What is he saying?
He wants his freedom.
Captain Newton, so like you, Samuel, confronted by his past. A soul without a compass.
I am a man. Am I not your brother?
Well, that just looks fascinating, Peter. How did you, a first-time director from Australia, manage to hook up with Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Well, we asked him to be in the show. You know, it's just a matter of, you know, ask and ye shall receive, as they say.
Okay.
So, yeah, he had a look at the script and he liked it. He had some time. It was fortuitous, really.
He's done a lot of real-life drama, hasn't he? I mean, I think, you know, the Ben Carson story, Gifted Hands. I saw one the other day, Radio.
Yep.
You know, the Navy diver, can't remember what that's called off the top of my head, but yeah, he's done a lot of sort of real life, you know, human dramas, and yeah, really powerful. So he was excited about the script, was he?
Yes, he was, and he's very committed to the idea of the story, and it was, you know, it's an interesting story. We have these two time periods, and we have tall ships and trains, and it's a chase film as well. We have baddies chasing the slaves on horseback, and a few gunfights and all that sort of stuff. As well as we have 11 songs in the film, gospel, bluegrass, and of course Amazing Grace.
And hymns, yeah.
And a couple of hymns, yeah. So it's a very it's an interestingly constructed film, but also it's powerful, I think, because of the nature of the music inside it, which is kind of holds the soul of it together. I mean, music was used so much as a device for hope, particularly amongst the slaves, and we used that device in the film. Wow.
So would you see this as a spiritual film? Does it have a spiritual message?
Oh, most certainly. And it's also about forgiveness. Like, freedom really is determined or dependent upon one's ability to forgive, as well as freedom being all those other things. And it means many different things, obviously, to different people. But it's certainly a film which faith-based, and Christians will have no trouble taking their secular friends to. It doesn't sermonise or evangelise. The parable within it is obvious, but at the same time it's very accessible to anyone in the general public.
Yeah, okay. So you've tried pretty hard not to, I guess, have this obvious sort of evangelistic moment where, you know, well, now's the big conversion. Or...
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's sort of like, you know, why preach to the converted? You know, so, but at the same time, it does affirm, you know, the concept of hope, and that we are with, you know, can overcome. Yeah.
What sort of response have you got so far? Like, because you've been doing some preview screenings and, you know, test screenings and things.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around the country doing some pre-screenings, and it's been really wonderfully warm, wonderfully positive. People are very moved by the film. It also has some social justice issues within it. The film obviously tells a story about slavery, but
which is still an issue today, sadly.
Which is still an issue today, and we, at the very end of the film, and I won't give it away, but there is a very powerful connection that we make as filmmakers to the issue of human trafficking, and we hope that that will help to bring a greater awareness. And we've combined with a couple of major human trafficking organisations like A21 and Destiny Rescue in particular, and others who are really getting behind the film because they see its power to change people. Okay,
so when should we see this film in cinemas? In Australia and overseas?
It's having its world premiere in Australia, which is unusual, from the 21st of August, and we encourage all of you who want to see the film to go on that first weekend.
And in elsewhere around the world?
Elsewhere in the world following, we'll go to America and Europe and South America.
Thanks so much for your time today, Peter.
Thanks, Kent. Real pleasure.
And we'll be back straight after the break.